Welcome, gents. Have you ever wondered why some men never seem to complain about the things that drive everyone else crazy? It is not because their life is perfect or problem-free. In fact, they face the same chaos, pressure, and setbacks as anyone else. But there's a major difference. They process it all differently. These are Sigma males, quiet on the outside, but wired in a way that most people will never fully understand. While the world vents about unfair treatment, difficult people, or how exhausting life feels, Sigma males quietly keep moving. Not because they're trying to prove something, but because they learned early that complaining changes nothing. Complaining keeps you stuck. It feeds frustration. It hands your power to the very thing that's draining you. Sigma males don't avoid pain or pressure. They just don't expect the world to adjust for them. They adjust themselves. They study the mess, figure out the patterns, and build their own rules. It is not arrogance. It is control, a quiet kind. The kind that doesn't need attention or praise to function. If you've ever felt like you're wasting your energy talking about what's wrong instead of building what's next, this mindset might be for you. You do not have to be loud to be strong. You do not have to be accepted to be effective. There's something powerful about becoming the kind of man who doesn't flinch while the world complains. That power is earned and it can be yours. Let's get started, gents. Number 1, feeling left out. Let's be real. Most people feel uneasy when they're left out of something, a party they weren't invited to, a group chat they're not part of, a decision made without their input. It stings because deep down they want to feel included. They want to know they matter to someone. And when they're excluded, it's easy to start questioning everything. But Sigma males don't spin in that cycle. Feeling left out doesn't shake them. Not because they're made of stone, but because their attention is somewhere completely different. They're not focused on what they weren't invited to. They're locked in on what they're building, what they're learning, or what they're fixing in their own life. Think of a guy sitting at home sketching out a new idea late into the night while the group he used to hang out with is out taking selfies and swapping gossip. He doesn't feel jealous. He feels free. Free from the pressure to perform or blend in. He's not missing out. He's just doing something different, something with depth. Sigma males are the kind of people who understand that being alone does not mean being lonely. They don't wait for approval before moving. They don't crave someone else's spotlight. They know that life isn't about how many circles you're a part of. It's about what you do with your time when nobody's watching. While others scroll through social media trying to keep up, Sigma males are out of the race entirely. They're too busy creating, thinking, or mastering something in silence. And in that silence, they find something most people never will. Peace, direction, and a sense of self that cannot be taken away. They don't just survive the feeling of being left out. They use it. They turn it into fuel. And that's why they stand out without even trying. Number 2, waiting for the right time. Most people are stuck in a loop. They keep saying, I'll start when the timing feels right. Maybe after the next paycheck. Maybe when they feel more confident. Maybe when things calm down. But that moment rarely shows up. Life stays messy. Plans get delayed, and all that waiting turns into wasted years. Sigma males don't live like that. They figured out that waiting is just another form of fear dressed up as strategy. They don't need perfect timing. They just need a reason. And once they have one, they act, even if the timing looks terrible to everyone else. Imagine someone standing in the middle of a storm, drenched and cold, but still laying bricks. That's the Sigma mindset. They don't care if the forecast is ugly. They know that storms pass, but the foundation they build will stay. So while others are watching the clouds, they're busy creating something that will still be standing when the sun comes back out. In real life, this might look like someone starting a business with barely any savings, or applying for a position they're not qualified for yet, or speaking their mind in a room full of people who might not like it. They act anyway, not because they're reckless, but because they trust their instincts more than their doubts. The truth is, there's never a perfect time. The house will never be fully quiet. The bills will never stop. Confidence will never land in your lap overnight. Sigma males understand this. That's why they move, not later, now. And here's the twist. The action itself creates the conditions people keep waiting for. The progress brings clarity. The pressure builds skill. The storm reveals strength. While everyone else is waiting for the door to open, Sigma males are already halfway through the wall. Number 3, life is unfair. Let's be honest. Life is not fair. Some people are born into comfort while others fight for scraps. Some get second chances just because they're well connected. Others do everything right and still get ignored. Most people spend years stuck in frustration repeating the same line, it's not fair. And they're right, it isn't. But Sigma males don't stay stuck there. They feel the same sting, but they respond differently. They don't sit around waiting for life to apologize. Instead, they study the game. They watch how things really work, not how people say they should work. They look at who's winning, why they're winning, and what patterns show up over and over again. Then they make their move. Picture someone watching a rigged game of cards. Most players flip the table when they realize it's unfair. A Sigma male doesn't flip the table. He learns the dealer's habits. He figures out how the cards are marked, and eventually he stops playing by their rules entirely. He builds his own table. In everyday life, this could look like someone who gets passed over for a promotion at work. Instead of complaining to everyone in the office, he quietly upgrades his skills, starts freelancing on the side, and creates so much value that people have no choice but to notice or lose him. Sigma males know that life won't always reward effort. It rewards strategy, timing, and emotional discipline. They don't need things to be fair, they just need clarity. Once they understand the system, they stop begging it to change. They either find a way to win inside it or create something outside of it. This mindset may not be comforting, but it's powerful. Because once you stop needing fairness, you stop waiting. And when you stop waiting, you start building. That's how Sigma males move. Quietly, intentionally, and always forward. Number 4, it's hard to trust people. Most people hand out trust too fast. They meet someone who seems nice, says the right things, makes a few promises, and boom, they're in until something goes wrong. Then comes the heartbreak, the betrayal, the regret, the same cycle all over again. Sigma males don't live like that. They learned the hard way that trust isn't something you give. It's something that's earned slowly over time through actions that stay consistent, whether anyone is watching or not. They don't announce their boundaries. They don't say, I have trust issues. They just observe, quietly, carefully. They notice how people behave when there's nothing in it for them. They pay attention to what others say about people who aren't in the room. They clock inconsistencies, not to be paranoid, but to protect their peace. Picture a man who's been burned before. Maybe he gave someone too many chances. Maybe he believed the wrong words. Maybe he was loyal to someone who was only loyal to their own interests. That kind of pain teaches you to watch more than you speak. So now, when new people come around, Sigma males don't rush to bond, they don't overshare. They don't invite you into their private world just because you smiled at the right time. They wait. They test in subtle ways. They let time do the heavy lifting. If someone proves they're solid, not just once but repeatedly, trust follows. Quietly, and with boundaries. Even then, there's a limit. Sigma males don't trust blindly. They understand that even good people can disappoint you if you put them on a pedestal. It's not bitterness, it's clarity. And that clarity keeps them grounded. While others are dealing with the fallout of misplaced trust, Sigma males are still watching, still thinking, still moving wisely through a world where loyalty is rare, and consistency means everything. Number 5. Jealousy or envy. Jealousy is everywhere. You see someone with a better car, a bigger house, more followers, a louder life, and something tightens in your chest. It's that quiet feeling that maybe you're not doing enough. Maybe you missed something. Maybe you're behind. Most people fall into that trap. They scroll, compare, spiral, and feel small. Sigma males don't. Not because they've mastered their emotions, but because they don't water those thoughts. They don't even give them space to grow. They've got blinders on, not out of ignorance, but by choice. Their focus is locked on what they're building, what they're learning, and who they're becoming. There's simply no room left to wonder who's doing it better. Imagine a man digging his own well. It's slow work. It's deep. It's repetitive. And every now and then, he hears someone brag about how fast their water came in. But he doesn't look up. He keeps digging. Because he's not interested in shallow wins. He's after something that lasts. Sigma males don't envy success because they understand what it costs. They know that every loud achievement comes with quiet sacrifices. And they also know that most people only post the highlight reel. So they stay grounded, focused, unimpressed by appearances and unbothered by timelines. When others are caught in comparison, Sigma males are caught in concentration. When others are watching what everyone else is doing, Sigma males are working the angles no one sees. Their mission matters more than the noise. And the truth is, envy requires attention, but they've trained their minds to keep that energy on their own lane. They don't feel left behind because they're not trying to be seen. They're trying to build something solid, something real. And when you're obsessed with that kind of mission, jealousy doesn't stand a chance. It can't grow where focus already lives. Number 6, I can't find love. A lot of people walk around saying they can't find love. They scroll through dating apps. They chase connection after connection. They pour themselves into people who don't even value them, all because they think love will finally make them feel complete. But Sigma males see it differently. They don't move through life searching for someone to fill a gap. They don't believe love is something to chase. To them, love is something that shows up when two people are already whole, not when one person is looking to be rescued. They're not against love. They just don't idolize it. It's not their life's mission. It's not a prize they feel desperate to earn. If it happens, it happens. And if it doesn't, they're not broken without it. Picture a man focused on building something that matters. Maybe it's his business, his craft, his peace. He's not staying up late wondering why no one has picked him. He's sharpening himself, he's growing, he's learning. And he knows that if someone is meant to join him on that path, they will. But he won't pause his purpose to go searching. Sigma males understand that love based on need is fragile. But love that forms between two strong, grounded people, that's real. That's worth something. So they're not out here trying to convince someone to choose them. They don't flood phones with messages. They don't beg for attention. They move with purpose, and whoever matches that energy will find them, not the other way around. At the end of the day, love isn't the centerpiece of their life. It's a part of it, something that fits into what they've already built. They don't feel incomplete without a partner. Because the truth is, they were already whole long before love came into the picture. Number 7, I hate being told what to do. Most people here do this, or you should, and immediately push back. They argue, they get defensive, they waste energy trying to prove a point. But Sigma males don't waste time like that. They don't like being told what to do either, but instead of fighting it, they pivot. They listen, but not because they're obedient. They're gathering data. They study who's talking, what the agenda is, and what the rules of the room are. Then they quietly decide if the environment is worth staying in, or if it's time to build something on their own terms. Imagine someone working under a boss who thrives on control. A Sigma male won't throw a tantrum or start a rebellion. He'll show up, observe, take the skills he needs, and use that same job to fund his exit. He's not trying to burn the system down. He's trying to outgrow it. They don't fear authority, they understand it. But what they fear is becoming dependent on it, depending on someone else's approval, someone else's timeline, someone else's vision. That's what makes their skin crawl. Because the moment someone else can pull the plug on your life, your freedom becomes an illusion. So instead of demanding control, Sigma males earn it, slowly, quietly, strategically. They play the long game. They take orders when they have to, but they're always thinking a few steps ahead, always looking for the moment they can step away and run their own system. And when they finally walk away, it's not out of spite. It's because they've outgrown the need to be told what to do. They've built something that answers to no one but their own discipline. They don't hate rules, they hate cages, and if they ever feel boxed in, they don't complain. They outgrow the box. That's the Sigma way. No arguments, just quiet movement in the direction of freedom. Number 8, people are fake. Most people get blindsided when someone turns out to be fake. The disappointment hits hard. The trust they gave starts to feel like a mistake. They replay conversations, question their judgment, and carry that weight longer than they need to. Sigma males don't deal with that kind of emotional spiral, not because they're cold, but because they expect masks. They understand that most people show the version of themselves they think will be accepted, admired, or unchallenged. It's not shocking. It's human. And that's exactly why they don't take it personally. They move through the world with their eyes open. They watch how people move when no one's watching them. They pay attention to tone, body language, contradictions. They gather data the way a builder gathers tools. Everything means something, even the silence. Imagine someone in a crowded room quietly watching, not judging, just gathering patterns. While others are caught up in charm and surface-level smiles, the Sigma male is watching for inconsistency, not to expose anyone, not to confront them, just to understand who's real and who's just performing. When someone shows their fake side, a Sigma male doesn't react. No outburst, no social media rant, no emotional meltdown. He simply adjusts, pulls back, moves smarter. Maybe he limits access. Maybe he disappears entirely. But it's never about drama. It's about protecting his peace and energy. He extracts what's useful, maybe a lesson, maybe an insight, and leaves the rest behind. He does not need everyone to be genuine. He just needs to know who is and who isn't. And once that's clear, he never forgets. To Sigma males, people are not puzzles to be fixed. They're patterns to be read. And once they see your pattern, they act accordingly. Quiet, sharp, clean, no illusions, no noise, just strategy. Number 9. No one checks on me. A lot of people feel invisible when no one checks in on them. Days go by, maybe even weeks, and not a single call or message comes through. It's easy to start feeling forgotten. It's easy to let that silence sink into your bones. But Sigma males learned early that waiting to be checked on is a trap, a silent way of handing your emotional stability to other people. They don't sit around hoping someone will notice they're off. They already know how to notice it themselves. They check in with their own mind. They ask themselves the hard questions. They self-correct, self-reflect, and self-direct. Not because they're too proud to ask for help, but because they've stopped depending on external support to stay balanced. Imagine a man going through a heavy season. Bills piling up, personal pressure mounting, and no one around to ease the load. Most would crumble or at least pause, hoping someone would step in. A Sigma male doesn't wait. He knows life doesn't pause for your emotions, so he works the problem one piece at a time, quietly and without complaint. They've accepted the reality that most people are wrapped up in their own lives, and instead of resenting it, they adapted. They became their own support system. That emotional independence isn't built overnight. It's built through experience, through getting disappointed and deciding not to let it break you. Sigma males don't see silence as rejection. They see it as space. Space to grow, think, create, and reset. And when the world goes quiet, they don't panic. They go inward. They take care of what's inside so the outside never controls them. They don't need the world to check in on them to know their worth. They already know. That's what keeps them steady. Not noise, not attention, just self-awareness and relentless forward motion. Number 10, I feel like I'm always behind. It's easy to feel behind these days. You open your phone and see people buying houses, getting promoted, traveling the world, starting families, and launching businesses. It feels like everyone else is moving faster, like you're stuck in place while the rest of the world takes off without you. But Sigma males don't think like that. They don't measure their progress by someone else's pace. They don't care who got there first. They care whether the place they're going actually matters to them. That's the difference. They move with intention, not pressure. Their timeline is quiet, personal, measured against their own growth, not society's checklist. To them, being behind only exists if you're trying to keep up with a race you never agreed to run. Picture someone building a house from the ground up while everyone else is decorating rented spaces. It takes longer, it looks slower. But when it's done, it's theirs, solid, stable, and real. That's how Sigma males live. Their path isn't flashy, it's not built to impress, it's built to last. They've learned that rushing leads to mistakes, following the crowd leads to dead ends, and feeling behind is usually a sign you've stopped trusting your own pace. So instead of forcing momentum, they stay focused on direction. Instead of chasing trends, they chase clarity. They don't need to broadcast progress. They don't need a timeline stamped with milestones that look good to outsiders. They're fine with being unseen while they sharpen. Fine with being doubted while they build. Because they know the real question isn't, am I ahead? It's, am I aligned? Sigma males don't feel behind because they're not trying to keep up. They're trying to go deep. They're trying to go true. And when you move by your own compass, someone else's finish line means nothing. Number 11. I don't feel motivated. Most people wait to feel motivated before they act. They think they need a spark, a push, a perfect mood to start doing the hard stuff, so they sit around scrolling, talking about their goals, watching others live with urgency, while they wait for some magical inner switch to flip. Sigma males don't wait for that. They already know motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like weather. It's nice when it's there, but they don't depend on it. Instead, they build systems. They create routines. They train their minds to act whether they feel like it or not. Imagine someone waking up at 5 in the morning, not because they're excited, but because they said they would. Not because it feels good, but because it needs to be done. That's how Sigma males operate. They treat discipline like a muscle. The more they use it, the stronger it gets. They don't chase inspiration. They chase clarity. They plan their steps the night before so they don't have to argue with themselves in the morning. They remove distractions so they're not tempted to drift. They structure their environment to push them forward, not pull them off course. When motivation dies down, and it always does, and they keep moving, quietly, steadily. While others are trying to get in the mood, they're halfway through the work. That consistency becomes their edge. And no, it doesn't mean they never feel tired or frustrated. It means they don't let those feelings decide the outcome. They've trained themselves to take action regardless. That's how progress is made. Not through sudden bursts of hype, but through quiet, repeated effort. Sigma males figured out that if you always wait to feel ready, you'll spend your life standing still. So they stopped waiting. They built their own momentum. And now, while everyone else is searching for motivation, they're already doing the work. Number 12, the past. Most people treat the past like a prison. They keep revisiting moments that broke them, relationships that failed, choices they regret. They hit rewind every night before they sleep, and again the moment they wake up. The past becomes a loop, not a lesson. Sigma males do the opposite. They don't run from the past, but they don't live in it either. When something goes wrong, they study it. They ask hard questions. Why did it happen? What did I miss? What was I blind to? And once they get the lesson, they let the rest go. No need to keep replaying the same scene, hoping for a different ending. That's wasted energy. Picture a man who trips in the dark. He doesn't sit there blaming the darkness. He makes a mental note about where the floor dipped, gets up, and finds a way to install a light next time. That's the Sigma mindset. Fall, learn, rebuild, all forward motion. They don't waste time wishing the past had gone differently. Regret is a luxury they don't indulge. Every mistake becomes raw material, a blueprint, something to build with. They know the past cannot be changed, but it can be used, and that's the real power. While others are stuck in what was, Sigma males are locked in on what can be. They're engineers of the next version of themselves. Every scar has been studied, every failure has been mapped. They carry no emotional debt, nothing weighing them down. They understand one brutal truth. Living in the past kills your future. So they extract the value, drop the guilt, and get back to work. You won't hear them ranting about what they should have done differently. They're too focused on what they're about to do next. And that's what sets them apart. In final words, what would happen if you stopped complaining and just started moving? See, most people don't realize how much energy they waste on things they can't control. They talk, vent, rant, spiral. And while that's happening, Sigma males are already 10 steps ahead, building, learning, adapting. They don't complain, not because life is easier for them. It's not. In fact, it's often harder. But they've made a different choice, a brutal, clear, disciplined choice to respond instead of react. They don't wait for life to feel fair before they move. They don't need the perfect mood or crowd or timing. They don't sit in a circle hoping someone finally understands them. They understand themselves, and that's enough to keep going. You might be thinking, but I'm not built like that. Truth is, no one is born built like that. It's a mindset, a daily decision, a slow, consistent rejection of excuses. And the best part, anyone can start doing it. You don't have to flip a switch overnight. Just stop giving your energy to what drains you. Stop explaining your pain to people who won't ever understand it. Stop waiting for the world to hand you a clear path. Make your own. If you feel out of place, maybe it's because you were never meant to be where everyone else is standing. That's not loneliness, that's direction. So use it. Take the silence, the setbacks, the stuff you used to complain about it, and build. Not for applause, not for validation, for peace, for strength, for the man you're becoming. No more waiting, no more wishing. Just work. Quiet, consistent, ruthless, like a Sigma. Thank you for watching, gents, and God bless you.